Welcome to Trauma Informed Yoga with Kaila. This is time to relax and reconnect with your body. I hope you enjoy your practice. If you are loving these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Okay, welcome to Trauma Yoga. Tonight we are going to focus on becoming fearless, stepping into that courage, and really starting to feel that power that we have inside of us. Last week, we really focused on stepping out into that courage and finding that inner strength. And this is going to be about pulling that inner strength in and understanding the strength that we have inside of us. So tonight, we're going to start in an easy seated position, just sitting nice and tall. So whatever is comfortable for you. You could cross your legs. You could come into half lotus with one leg on top, one leg underneath. Completely up to you on how you want your practice to begin. So we're just going to start seated. If you want to sit up on a yoga block, you could do that too, or a bolster. And just beginning to bring that awareness within, that awareness into our body, into our breath, and starting to notice that feeling within our body, noticing any tension and any kind of feelings that we might have. Do we feel stiff in our neck or our shoulders, right? What's kind of going on in our body? So just beginning to check in, noticing, beginning to feel that breath moving in and out of our body. We're just bringing conscious awareness to it. We're not changing it or trying to make it be a certain way. We're just observing it. And we'll begin to bring our hands up to the center of our chest, or heart center is what we call it in yoga. And just noticing the rhythm of your heart. Can you feel your heart beating? There's something magical about our heartbeat. There's power behind it. There's magnetic force behind it. There's just so much resonance within our heart and within this heart center that we have here. The power is truly ours. So breathing into that heart space. As we breathe, we notice we sit up a little taller, we grow a little taller. Our shoulders relax down a little further into our spine. We lift up out of that sacrum. We begin to find our Mula Bandha, our root lock, drawing the roots down into the earth, grounding deeply. Taking one more deep breath here. Exhaling our hands down by our sides. We're going to begin to bring some movement here. So we're going to inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale down through heart center here. Just beginning to move that energy and that breath with our body. Inhales and exhales. Moving our movement, our arms. Noticing if you can grow a little taller. Can you reach a little further? Can you bring a smile to your face? Can you find that joy in the process? Keep breathing, moving. We'll do two more. Exhale, let it go. Good. We're going to come in laterally. So we're going to inhale one side up nice and high overhead. And then as we exhale, we come light down, inhaling other side. And just trying to make that arm flow. Can you allow that hand to be light and airy, flowing side to side? What does that feel like? Noticing yourself within the space. Noticing what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell. beginning to bring our senses into this moment and into this space. Part of yoga is remaining in the present moment, and part of yoga is being here right now, not in the future, not in the past. We're empowering our bodies in this motion, in this moment, right here, right now. Let's do one more on each side. Inhales and exhales, moving with your own breath. Wonderful, great job. So just beginning to wring out our spine, we're going to bring some movement. So let's just gentle twist here, twisting over to one side. And we'll gentle twist to the other side. We're going to flow through this a couple times. So finding those hands falling to one side, pressing, twisting, growing, reaching. Finding that twisting motion. So on either side of our spine, we really do have the main branch of our stress response in our body, and it really does activate. So what we're doing here is we're just wringing out that stress response a little, bringing some movement to that digestive tract and allowing that gut-brain axis to just subside a little bit, allowing a little bit more of an ebb and a flow. Let's come back to center. Give yourself a little wiggle if it feels good. So tonight I'd like to move into using a little bit of mudras. So mudras are different positions of the body. And tonight we're going to use some hand mudras to just help us feel the energy within the space and to help us understand the power that we have inside. So the first mudra we're going to focus on is our Abhaya Mudra. Abhaya Mudra is one hand or two hands forward, just palms facing forward. Abhaya in Sanskrit stands for fearlessness. So this is our mudra that helps us remove fear and step into courage. Abhaya Mudra. So you'll notice a theme tonight as we step into courage, we remove fear and we step into that fearlessness. Abhaya Mudra. And just being in this space and holding this position, the flexing through the hands, you'll notice that you feel a little powerful, and it's kind of like a barrier. We're creating that safe space for us, and this is my safe space. Noticing what that feels like, understanding the energy. We're going to move into our oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this. Samnirodhani mudra, which is our thumbs come in, our fingers curl over, and we come into this protection, and we're going to bring it into heart center or into the center, into our solar plexus area. So Samnirodhani mudra, our closed fist with thumb tucked mudra. This here is our sense of power, our sense of control, our ability to control ourselves and our circumstances. This is our personal control. Abhaya Mudra. Inhale, hands out. Exhale, Samnirodhani Mudra, back into center. Let's do two more just like that. Abhaya Mudra. Samnirodhani Mudra as we come through center, curling those thumbs in. Inhale. Exhale. And just allow your hands to fall. However they fall, palms up, palms down, doesn't matter. This is your practice. And I just want you to reflect on how maybe those mudras made you feel. And if they're not for you, that's okay. You don't need to use them. You can do whatever feels good for you. And I do plan to bring it into our practice tonight, and you just play with it. It's not everything for everyone, and just accept what you enjoy and take those pieces away from tonight's practice. So let's come on to all fours. just beginning to lift and place each hand and knee. So imagine yourself like a baby elephant waddling side to side, lifting and lowering. Wonderful. Placing our hands underneath our shoulders. We're going to take a nice deep inhale here, coming into our happy, smiling cow. Exhale, pressing into your hands, rounding into cat. So using your own breath to guide you in and out of this flowing cat-cow. We're just taking different movements here through that spine, right? We talked about the stress response being on the back of our spine. And so we started with the twisting and turning of that stress response. We started wringing at our spine, and now we're just beginning to bring that forward flexion and extension through the spine. You got it. Great job. One more. Rounding into that cat, feeling the power underneath our hands as our hands are rooted down into the earth in our Hasta Bandha, our hand lock. Let's curl our back toes under, sending our sit bones high towards the sky. We come into our first downward facing dog of the evening. So let's begin by flexing and extending, maybe taking that dog for a little walk here. If down dog isn't available to us, we can choose to come into puppy with our glutes high towards the sky and our forehead down towards our mat. So listening to our bodies, meeting our bodies with where we're at today, here in this moment. Today isn't yesterday and it's not tomorrow. It is the power to meet ourselves where we're at in this moment, because every day is very different, and that is totally okay. Wonderful. Let's take a nice deep inhale, coming forward into our plank. Option to drop those knees into kneeling plank here. Taking a nice deep breath. Inhale. Exhale down into our crocodile. Just halfway lift. So we're not going all the way down to the mat. Inhale, back up into plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Practicing that upper body strength. Let's do that again. Inhaling forward into plank. Option to drop those knees. Exhale. Take another deep inhale here. Exhale into our crocodile. Hold halfway. Exhale, back up. Press it back into our downward facing dog. Can we do one more just like that? As we are warming up that body, inhale forward. Exhale, halfway down. Exhale, back up. Press it back. You've got it. Let's drop those knees, pressing it back into a child's pose, taking this opportunity to check in with our body. Sometimes when we go through a little bit of a minor stress here in our yoga practice, we notice that heart rate rise. So I want you to bring that awareness back to that heart center, back to that space that we started with at the beginning of our class. What is going on there? Observing. Becoming aware of the patterns that we have within our body, right? These stress patterns, they translate into our everyday lives right from our yoga mat. So we can learn here on our yoga mat, what is that stress response that my body is going into? And how can I control that? How can I bring some awareness to that? And awareness sometimes is all we need to learn to control it, right? And sometimes it's just bringing our awareness back to that breath. Can I feel my breath? Can I inhale for 2 and exhale for 2, right? That tactical breathing. So important to find that cadence, that rhythm in our breath. Extend those arms nice, long forward, curling our back toes under. Let's press it back into our downward facing dog one more time. Here, let's take that right leg up high towards the sky. Let's swing it on through, finding our lunge. Now you have the option here to drop that back knee. It's completely up to you. This is your yoga practice. So do I want to drop my knee or do I want to stay in a full lunge? It's completely up to me. Finding that edge. Let's take our left hand over to our right, towards our right foot. Our right hand is going to come back to our right hip bone. And we're just going to begin to make some movements, some arm circles here, bringing some awareness to the back side of that right shoulder. Can you begin to twist and open towards that right knee? You've got this. Wonderful job. Finding that breath. Good. Let's place that hand back down. Let's press into our left foot, shifting our weight forward. We'll find our weight comes into that right leg. Let's lift that left leg up. Finding a balance here. Flexing through that left foot. You've got this. Good. Come back down to that lunge. Great job. Let's find that rock, that motion. Can I rock in my lunge? So we practice strength and movement, noticing how strong we are and how capable we are. Even if we're not going fully into the posture, that's okay. We are capable of trying, and trying is all I ask. Let's take that left foot, let's step it up towards that right foot, coming into our standing forward fold. This is where we get to find that cadence breath, that tactical breathing. Can you count inhales for 2, exhales for 2? Or maybe we inhale for 3, exhale for 3. You pick your cadence. This is your breath. This is your practice. How can I bring my awareness back into myself and allow that heart rate to return to normal? Right? Kaila just made me balance for a little bit here. I wasn't expecting to balance this so soon into class. That's okay. Good. Let's take that right leg. Let's step it on back. Finding lunge now on the other side. So we're going to take both hands on the inside. Now you have that option again to drop that knee. Completely up to you here. Your choice, option to drop the knee or stay full. Your practice. Noticing what they feel like. Maybe one feels different than the other one, right? What does it feel like in my body? What am I noticing? What is the difference from one side to the other? Am I noticing any difference or any changes? Maybe there's some tightness differences. Let's take that right hand over towards that left foot. That left hand is going to come to that left sit bone. We're going to begin to make those arm circles, big circles with that left shoulder. Can you draw big circles? Finding that titration, that movement in the posture, right? How can I hold strong, practicing that strength, and find that movement? Good, bringing that hand back down. Good, nice, you've got this. Let's shift our weight forward into that left leg, pushing up off that right leg. We lift up nice and tall, finding a balance, just practicing a little balance here. This is just setting you up for something we're going to go into later. Flexing that right foot, standing tall and strong. You've got this through that left leg. Exhale, right leg back down, finding that lunge, and let's just find that rocking motion again. That ability to let go. Noticing any feelings that are coming up, right? Are you noticing that that heart rate is beginning to rise? Maybe anxiety begins to rise a little bit. How are you feeling here in this moment? Let's take that right foot, step it up to that left foot, finding that forward fold. Oh, give yourself a big old sigh here. You did amazing, right? The whole idea of this practice is to take us into that stress and that relaxation response. We're learning skills here that are not just going to serve us here on our yoga mats and are not just going to serve us tomorrow, but are going to serve us for our lives, right? Imagine if I can learn to control my breath,
And my thoughts, I can achieve anything. So let's allow that head to fall heavy. And allow those arms to hang. Like, just let them hang. Like, don't force them down to the mat. Don't force them to be on our shins or our thighs. Just let them hang. Notice like your whole upper body feels kind of ragdolly. And just notice, what does that do to your spine? Do you notice if it shifts the stretch anywhere different? So I know for myself, if I go a little ragdolly, all of a sudden I can feel a stretch in my mid-back. So you notice whatever is going on in your body. What does it feel like? Bringing that awareness into our bodies. Let's take a nice deep bend through the knees and slowly, slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Oh, wow. Okay. So we'll find our Anjali Mudra. Anjali Mudra is our prayer mudra, right? So this is our ability to honor ourselves and honor those around us, right? We see this in lots of different religions. People use a prayer style, even in different cultures, right? People greet each other. So it's the sense of honor in yoga. It's Anjali Mudra, our sense of honoring ourselves and honoring others. Standing tall in our Tadasana, our mountain posture, rolling those shoulders down and back. Allowing that heart center to rise. And notice as we draw up through that heart center, that personal sense of power and being draws up nice and tall. Do you feel yourself a little bit more powerful? Noticing the sensation in your body. Let's allow our arms to rise up nice and high as we sweep them up, inhaling. Exhaling, sitting down into chair. Anjali Mudra into chair. Inhale, lift. Rise. Exhale, left elbow to right knee. Twisting chair. Inhaling to rise. And as we exhale, right elbow to left knee this time. So you're noticing we're just moving side to side, using that breath up through heart center. And then we exhale side to side. This is your ability to go with your own breath here, following your own movement, rising and falling. Use your body, you've got this. Finding that rhythm. Checking in, do you have two knees roughly in one line as you twist here, side to side? Let's just do this one more. Inhale to rise. Exhale, arms down by our sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. From here, we're going to pick up our right foot. We're going to step it back, finding our warrior one. Bringing our hands to heart center in our Anjali Mudra. And now we're going to take our right hand, come into our Abhaya Mudra, that strong stance, that fearlessness. And taking that left hand, coming into Samnirodhani Mudra, thumb tucks into our fingertips, bringing it to heart center. Standing tall in our warrior one with our personal power, our sense of control at our solar plexus, and our fearlessness out in front of us. I want you to just become aware of your breath and just notice, how does this make you feel in your warrior one? I'll tell you, for myself, when I'm holding this in warrior one, I feel powerful, driven. I feel in control of my life, my being, my energy. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale, allow the arms to fall. Inhale, arms up nice and high, extending through that left leg. Exhale, bending through the left knee, coming down, arms sweep down by our sides. Let's scoop them up, extending back up through that left leg, rising. Exhale. Good. Imagine yourself, you're like a fisherman on the ocean, scooping your big nets. And as the wind blows, we allow those nets to fall. Using that breath, finding that powerful, right? So we're using that powerful fishing feeling here. We are the ability to fish in our own universe. We have that ability to scoop up whatever we want to scoop up in our nets. So what is something that you want to scoop up in your net here? Love, compassion, trust, finding that personal power, that sense of being, that ability to step into our own, that ability to let go of who we once were and step into who we want to be and who we get to be. Let's do one more just like that. Exhale. Let's heel toe our right foot back and open, finding our warrior two. Warrior two, you are a peaceful warrior surveying your field, taking those shoulders down away from the ears, relaxing, only going as deep as feels comfortable for you. You want to see that knee coming out over that heel, ankle, maybe even the middle of our foot here, keeping that nice bend. In our warrior posture, noticing how strong we feel, setting our intention here, our courageous intention, our intention to feel that courage inside of us, to know the strength that we have. Cartwheeling just our arms, we come into our side angle, reaching up nice and tall. Maybe we find that movement again in that shoulder. Maybe that right shoulder begins to circle. See if we can find that movement in our side angle. That powerful feeling. We can move or not move. It's our practice. It's up to us. We choose what we want. Finding stillness when we're ready. Let's cartwheel those arms down to the mat, walking them along that long edge of our mat. Turning both feet on that long edge of our mat and allowing those sit bones to rise up high towards the sky. Noticing your breath. Where are your shoulders located? Are they rising towards your ears? Noticing the tension that you might be holding in your jaw on either side of your cheeks. Let's take that left arm and reach it over to that right leg and bring your right arm over to that right leg too. Can you tuck that forehead down towards your knee? If you're having troubles with balance, that's okay. You can leave both hands on the mat and just walk them over towards that right leg. Or you can choose to bring both hands onto the right leg. Completely up to you, your practice, your movement. Let's walk our hands back over to that left leg this time. Both arms coming over to the left leg. Allowing that forehead to tuck down towards our knees. Bringing that awareness to that cadence breath. Maybe before you were doing it 2 and 2, and maybe now you can extend it a little longer. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more at ease. bringing whatever it is that you need here into this moment. Let's allow those hands to come back down to our mat. Let's walk our hands around that left leg, taking a nice deep bend through that left knee. Let's step that right foot in, coming into our forward fold. So with forward fold, we're going to allow that belly to rest onto our thighs. So taking a nice deep bend through those knees if we need to. Now wherever our hands lie, whether it's on our shins, on our thighs, on our ground, completely up to you. Just allow your hands to plant. Now if it feels good to you, you can begin to wrap your arms around the back of your legs. If your arms are wrapping around the back of your legs, we're going to begin to tuck that forehead down towards the knees and begin to extend those sit bones up high towards the sky. What does that feel like? Can you find your balance? Can you find your strength? Do you have the courage to try? Right? We build confidence and courage from trying. Confidence doesn't come from hoping and praying that one day we're just going to be confident in whatever it is that we're confident in. It comes from repetition. It comes from trying and trying again. And that's all I ask, is that yogi determination, that determination to not give up, that determination to just simply try. You know, we give ourselves that ability just for today. I love the saying, just for today. Just for today, I'm going to try a little bit. Just for today, I'm going to let go of any expectations that I have, and I'm just going to give it my best shot. Okay, let's allow those hands to let go. Picking up that left leg, let's step it slightly back. Walking those hands up that right leg, we find our warrior one on the other side. Finding that Anjali Mudra again, that hands to heart center, the honoring of ourselves and honoring of those around us, honoring of our practice. This time, let's take that left hand from the Abhaya Mudra. We'll take that right hand, finding that Samirdhani Mudra. Thumb inside our hand, bringing it to heart center. Standing tall and grounded in our warrior one. Digging deep, finding that awareness. Paying attention to how this makes you feel. If this isn't the mudras for you, that's okay. Let them go. Find any of the hand options that resonate with you. But I want you to notice the energy flow in your body when we practice our fearless mudra and our sense of control mudra. Let's inhale to rise, hands up nice and tall, extending through that front leg. Exhale, sweeping those arms around behind us. Inhale, scooping up, just like our fishing nets before. Exhale, let it go. So flowing with your own breath here. As we're scooping, what are we trying to obtain? What is it that we're looking for, searching for? What is it that I need here today in this moment? Maybe it's just that I need a little grace. Maybe that I need a little space. Maybe that I need to just finally take up space. Everybody's always in our space, right? What is it that you need? If you need to take up space, make those arm movements big and wild. Keeping that awareness with that breath, allowing that breath to guide us in and out of our scooping fishing motion. You got this. So 2 more. Coming back to our warrior one. Let's heel toe, that back toe open, sweeping our arms open. We find our warrior two. Standing strong and powerful in our warrior two, allowing those shoulders to relax down away from our ears. Finding that peaceful warrior, surveying the field. You can always drop your hands to your hips if it feels better to you. This is our power pose position. So your choice, if you want hands on your hips or hands extended, maybe you want to try a little bit of both. Maybe you like one or the other. It's completely up to you. Your posture. Whatever makes you feel powerful, strong, courageous. Let's extend, reach those arms way forward, cartwheel just the arms, coming into our side angle posture. And let's find that movement through that left shoulder. Big shoulder circles. That ability to find strength, to find movement in our posture is to establish what it is that we're looking for. You've got this. Whenever you feel good and ready, you can totally come and find stillness. Let's cartwheel those arms all the way down to our mat, walking them along that long edge. This time, let's turn our toes way in, heels out, extending. So if you do a lot of walking or running, or really you're just on your feet a lot, you're going to notice this in your extensors up the sides of your legs. This is one of my favorite little stretches for our legs. So let's inhale halfway to rise. Exhale, sinking down. Let's do two more. Inhale halfway to rise. Exhale, sinking down. One more. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. We use our sinking breath sometimes like this, just to allow ourselves to know that it's okay to relax. Like sometimes we go into a posture and don't even notice that we are so tense and so stiff in that posture. So when we use that sinking breath, you're all of a sudden able to give yourself permission to just relax, to let go, to understand that it's just here for this moment right now, and that I can choose to change it at any point. But I am safe here in this moment. I am safe here in this space. I have the ability to control myself right here, right now. Shifting the weight into our toes, we allow those sit bones to rise a little further. Do you notice the minute you shift your weight into your toes and you allow your sit bones to rise, can you feel that stretch in those extensors up the sides of your calves? Do you notice that sensation? Can you spread your fingers a little wider, creating that gecko style grip through our hands, that hasta bandha, that hand lock, right? That hand lock, the knowing that our hands are safe and holding us up, helping to protect us in case we shift too far forward and we fall forward. But we're safe here. We got our hands here to help support us. Let's walk those hands around that right foot, turning that foot forward. Placing our hands onto our mat, taking a nice deep bend through both knees, stepping our right foot back, we find our downward facing dog. Taking a nice deep bend through those knees, let's press it back. Child's pose, let's let it go. Now I promised you that I would challenge you a little bit. And part of that challenging is stepping outside that fear, stepping into that fearlessness, stepping into that personal power and that ability to just let all expectations go and to just try, just here, just today, just in this moment. And you can choose to stay here if you want to. This is your practice. That is okay. Knowing that you're practicing exactly perfect for yourself here in this moment. If you want to try this little bit of a challenge, we're going to extend those arms out nice and long. Inhaling forward. Pressing back into our downward facing dog. Taking that right leg lifted up high towards the sky, let's step it on through in between those hands. Now let's place all of our weight onto that right leg, shifting our left leg forward and up, just like we did at the very beginning. Flexing that left foot. Now, we're going to come into our balancing half moon. Let's take our right hand in front of our right foot. Our left hand into that left hip pocket, rotating that left hip open. We find balancing half moon. Now, you can choose to stay here. You can choose to extend that arm up. Now, I told you I was going to give you a challenge, and that's okay. If you fall out or you wibble wobble, that's cool. Just get back in. Use that yogi determination, that just for today mentality, that ability to step into courage and try. Exhale, hands back down, left foot back down, step it back, downward facing dog. Let it go. Find that safety, find that breath. Just let it go. Good. I'm going to turn around so I can see you guys. Okay. Ready for the other side. Lifting that left leg up high towards the sky. Let's step it on through. Finding that lunge. Shift the weight into the left leg this time. Lifting that right leg up off our mat. Flexing the foot. Option to stay here. If you'd like to go a little further, come along. Left hand in front of that left foot. Right hand to our right hip pocket. Rotating that right leg open, keeping that foot flex, arm, shoulder roll open. Extending that arm up high towards the sky. Finding our balancing half moon here. If you can't see it, I am shaking pretty good on this side. I wasn't really shaking on the other side. So if you've ever done any of the So As shake classes, this is my body trying to realign. And just sometimes it's okay to laugh at ourselves, to giggle, to have a little bit of fun, and to notice that we're just playing here. How often do we get to play in our lives? As adults, we tend to take ourselves so serious. Let's exhale, hand back down, leg back down, step it back into our downward facing dog. Let it go. Shift it out. And then right down into our child's pose. Let it go. Come right back to that breath. Remember that cadence breathing. Can you find that breath? Can you breathe into that heart center, that center space that we were talking about? There's so much power behind our heartbeat. Babies, they know the sound of their mother's heartbeat. They can recognize their mother's heartbeat from anybody else. And then what they do is there's something called attunement, where they begin to regulate their heartbeat with their mother's heartbeat when they're nearby. So let's begin to regulate your own breath with your own heartbeat. Noticing that sensation in your body. You are powerful, you are alive, and you are fearless. It's okay to have things in life we fear, but to step into fearlessness means that we're stepping into courage, that we're willing to just try today, just for today. Right? I have this great fear of heights, and I know that if I was to get up onto a giant bridge and I was supposed to bungee jump off, there's no way I could do it. But just for today, I could probably step on the first step of the bridge, and that's what I would be willing to do. Step on the first step. We meet ourselves with where we're at today, and you never know where you're going to be down the road. Let's inhale back up to all fours. I'm going to turn to the side so that I can see you. I'm going to come into that gate pose. So really stretching through those hip flexors here. Let's take that left foot out to the side, planting our foot down. We're supported by our right knee stacked underneath our right hip. Inhaling, arms up nice and long. This is gate pose. So gate pose is going to stretch that inner thigh. And what we really want to stretch is through that hip flexor. So the hip flexor begins at the top of the hip, wraps all the way around and comes up to the top of the hip, or the other top of the hip. Front of the hip to the back of the hip. That's what I'm trying to get at. So we're going to rotate that leg open and sitting down onto that right leg. So you can choose to have your foot flat. You can choose to sit fully on it. It's completely up to you, but you're going to notice the stretch through the hamstring, through the inner thigh as we rotate open here. Staying tall through heart center, bringing that awareness to breath. Let's find that Abhaya Mudra on both hands this time, but let's move the where we had it. So before we were taking it out front, let's find our Abhaya Mudra out to the sides. Noticing, what does that feel like? What does that seem like to you? Feeling the energy as we sit up nice and tall. Arms out to the sides, feeling that strength in our right leg as it holds us up. Feeling the stretch in the left leg. There's so much sensations to focus on here. Noticing, because I've got so much to focus on, am I beginning to feel those stress responses? How can I relax a little bit more through my cheekbones? How can I relax a little bit more through the back sides of my shoulders? Exhale, hands back down in front. Let's bring that left foot in, right foot out, planting through the foot to begin with. Inhaling up into our gate pose. Feeling strong, powerful. Sitting down onto that left foot this time. Let's open up that right leg, feeling that same stretch down the hamstring through the inner thigh here. Beginning to bring that awareness there. And let's take our Samnirodhani Mudra, the hand lock, so thumbs in, hands over, and begin to find wherever feels good to place your hands. I kind of like them at hearts, or not heart center, but right at my navel here, on either side of my navel. That feels good to me. But you place your hands wherever feels good to you to make you feel that you are in control, that you have this. Right? And giving yourself those positive affirmations. I got this. I can do this. One of my favorite mantras is I'm here and I'm willing to experience this. It's meaning I'm open to the opportunity. I'm open to the experience. It doesn't mean that I accept it. It doesn't mean that I like it. It means that I'm here and I'm willing to experience it. I'm willing to go through it. I'm willing to be here in this moment and to know that I am courageous and will come out the other side. I am determined. And that is powerful. That is truly stepping into that power. That knowing, right? That deep inner knowing that I am okay and I've got this. I trust in myself. Bringing those hands back down to center. Bringing that right knee back in. Let's allow ourselves to come down into our child's pose once again. Let's shift our hips off to one side. Allow those legs to swing around open. Finding staff pose as we extend those legs nice and long. Shoulders roll back into our spine. Our hands down by our side. Let's take our head and we're going to dip our head towards our right hand side. You'll notice a nice beautiful stretch down the left side. If you want it to go all the way out to your fingertips, all you have to do is reach your fingers a little further and you're going to notice that stretch can go from your fingertip all the way up to your ear. Flexing our feet, sitting up nice and tall, using that strength in our spine to zip up nice and tall. Now, our head is tilted off to the right. Can you, without moving your head, take your eyes over to the left? Can you look left? Can you try and find those left fingertips? Just playing around with that eye gaze, seeing if we can allow the backside of our neck to just relax by just simply changing our gaze here. If your eyes keep tracking forward or back to where they were, that's okay. You keep tracing them over to the left. Keep looking left. Breathing. Bringing that head back up to neutral. Allow those eye gaze to just blink. Just come back into center. Yeah, allow them to blink a little bit. That's cool. Shake out that left arm. Let's drop that head off to the left this time, extending that right arm out if you want a little bit of that deeper stretch all the way out to that fingertip. Zipping up nice and tall, making sure that we're not rounding forward, we're zipping up nice and tall, sitting tall, powerful, strong in our bodies. And as our head is tilted off to the left, let's try and take the eye gaze over to the right. Can you gaze right? Can you find those right fingertips? What does that feel like in your body? Do you notice like a contract, relax sensation go down your arm? Let's bring that head back up to neutral. Blink our eyes a bunch of times. Just allow those eyes to recenter, refocus. Shake out those hands. Sitting up nice and tall, finding that lifting through that sternum, that lifting through the thoracic spine, drawing that navel up towards the sky, sitting up nice and tall in our staff pose. Let's take our hands over to the right and just give ourselves that spinal twist here. So we just place a little bit of weight here into our hands and allow ourselves to just kind of give ourselves that gentle push as we're seated tall, and just noticing that stretch. I love this stretch. This one feels so good. Keeping those feet flexed, drawing that head to look over that right shoulder. Exhale, coming back through center. Let's take those hands over to the left this time. Let's twist, twist, twist. Taking that head over that left shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall as we're twisting, unraveling on our spine, keeping those feet flexed. Bring your head around, untwisting, coming back through center. Shake out those legs. Let's bring our feet into our butterfly posture. Feet come together, allowing those hips to fall open, knees to fall open. Just beginning to bring some sensation and awareness into the hip joint, into those hip rotators, right? So we're going to come into like a modified half lotus from our butterfly. So you're just going to crisscross your right leg on top of your left, just slightly. It's not anything crazy or deep. And all I want you to do is begin to walk your hands forward. You may not even have to go very far for a lean forward. And you should feel a little bit of a stretch through the back side of that right hip joint. If you want it a little deeper, you can take those feet a little closer or further away, your foot in a little bit more towards that half lotus. But all we're doing is we're leaning that heart center, that chest forward, and just feeling that stretch into the back of those hip rotators on the back side of our hip. Maybe you like to use that sinking breath that we learned. That's completely up to you, right? That inhale and exhale, allowing yourself to just sink a little deeper into the posture. Finding what works for you, finding what works for your body. I know the longer I hold this, you can probably see already that my chest is just beginning to drop a little lower and a little lower. And that's just my body learning to relax into the posture. And it definitely gets like a deeper stretch. So you listen to your body. You allow your body to sink where it needs to sink to. And slowly, slowly coming back up and in. Let's switch sides. Let's take that left leg this time on top of the right leg. So again, as deep or as shallow as you want with the crisscross of the legs, you could elevate your hips up onto a yoga block. Completely up to you. Taking a nice deep inhale here, drawing our body up nice and tall. Exhale, leaning forward. So we should feel this on the hip rotators on the back side of that left hip this time. Oh my gosh, time flies when we're having fun. Just took a look at the clock. I can't believe we're almost at our full hour. We might go over a little bit. That's okay. We are stretching out our body and listening to our body and practicing that power and that strength within us. allowing ourselves to sink into the posture as deep or as shallow as we need to. Finding our breath, bringing that awareness to our heart center. Let's slowly, slowly come back up. Finding that easy seated position. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Feeling that heartbeat once again. That strength and power within us. Taking those hands into that Abhaya Mudra. I am strong. I am powerful. I am fearless. I am courageous. I am on my own journey that is uniquely mine. And I am in full control. Coming into our Samnirdhani Mudra. I am in full control. Allowing those hands to let go. Let's bring our knees up. Let's slowly roll down onto our mats, bringing those knees in towards our chest. Giving ourselves that much needed hug. Wrapping our arms around our knees and tucking in and just squeezing ourselves, giving ourselves that hug, that knowing, that understanding that I am okay here in this present moment. I am okay here right now on my yoga mat in this space. And I am loved. I am giving myself so much love. Exhale, hands fall down by our sides. Our feet plant onto our mat. I'm just going to flow a couple hugs because especially after a practice where we're practicing some fearlessness and maybe we don't always practice being fearless in our everyday lives, we realize that maybe I just need a little bit of grace and you can feel fearless in this moment, and that's okay. And I need some grace to feel some love as well. So let's inhale, allow those knees to fall open into a butterfly. Exhale, crisscross our arms one over the other. Allow those knees to come in. Give yourself a big hug. Inhale, flowing open. Exhale, switching which arm was on top. Let's give ourselves that hug. Just flowing with your own breath. Inhales and exhales, allowing yourselves the hug. That feeling of love, that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of grace, understanding and trust, building that trust within ourselves, building that trust within our mind, our body. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Hands come down by our sides. Our legs float up high towards the sky, flexing through our feet. Legs come up long. I want you to feel the strength in our abdomen, the power within our abdomen to keep our legs up nice and long and our legs up a wall. Feet are flexed as if you're standing on the ceiling. Noticing what it is like to hold ourselves up. Our legs spend the entire day holding us up. They spend the entire lives holding us up. For once, all we can do is just simply hold them up, right? Give them the support that they need. Just like we need support in our lives. Right? We got to give ourselves that support and that gratitude, that grace. When we feel those negative thoughts and emotions sinking in, we find positive ones to replace them with. Maybe if it's not an emotion that we can replace it with, maybe it's just a feeling. Maybe it's a mudra, right? Maybe we're practicing our mudras that we learned tonight. When we're feeling those negative emotions creep in, maybe we practice that fearlessness. We say, stop, no, I am fearless. I am powerful. I am courageous. Or maybe we practice that Samnirdhani Mudra and we say, I am in control. I have the power to do this. I have the power to make it through today. Just for today, I'm going to find my breath. Just for today, I'm going to give myself some grace. Take one more inhale. Exhale, allow those legs to fall. Option to extend those legs out long, coming into our Savasana. Or option to come into our modified rest pose, knees knocking inward on each other. Your choice, your final relaxation. Take this opportunity to just check in with your body. We're going to do a quick little body scan, and I'll bring you up for the end of practice here. It's beginning to scan from our toes to our ankles, to our knees and our hips. What do our legs feel like? What sensations do you notice in the legs? Can you allow them to fall heavy? Can you allow them to be supported by the earth? Bringing your awareness to our sit bones, to our hips, to our navel. Can we allow our midsection to fall heavy? To allow the universe the ability to hold us up, to support us. Bring our awareness to our solar plexus, to that sternum, to our upper thoracic spine, to our rib cage and our heart center. Can you allow it to fall heavy? Can you allow Mother Earth to hold you up? Can you bring awareness to your shoulders? Are they creeping inward, or can you roll them open? Can you allow those tension patterns to let go? Can you allow your fingers to let go of each and every little bit of tension that we're holding on to? And just allow them to simply be here in this space, to fall heavy on the earth, and to know that you are safe in this space and the earth will hold us up. Bringing your awareness to your neck, to your face, to the back of your head, to the place in between your eyebrows. Can you allow it all to soften? And can you allow the back of your head to fall heavy onto the earth? Can you allow your shoulders to roll back, and everything to fall nice and heavy into the earth, to be supported, to root down into the earth and know that you are supported and you are held up, you are loved. Feeling that place of love. Bringing our hands back to heart center one more time. Breathing in that love and that supported energy. Allowing it to fill your entire being. I am loved. I am supported. I am practicing grace for myself. I am honoring myself and those around me. I am practicing stepping into my fearlessness. I am practicing being courageous. I am practicing being in control. I am the driver of my bus. Let's slowly, slowly begin to roll onto one side into constructive rest posture. Just taking the opportunity here. Take as much time as you need. And when you're feeling ready, we'll slowly make our way to an easy seated position near the top of your mat. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me here today. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste.